What else happened yesterday? Maybe talk about. Okay, here's in generalities, pretty much what's going on. When we were in court months and months ago, Linda's attorney, made the statement that they were upset with me that I paid for Nick's legal fees, and then when Nick turned 18, Linda and her attorney, pretty much their position was that Nick shouldn't be helped now that he's 18, and that was their position.
Right.
So, there's just been
trying to skirt into responsibility.
Yeah, and that Nick is 18 and we shouldn't help him, but he's our son, and I totally disagree. One of the things that really, really upset me a few weeks ago or months ago, whatever it was if I spent $10 on Brooks' music career, $200 on Brooks' music career, $3 million on Brooks' music career, you just don't ask your kids to pay you back, Right. And basically, Nick.
That's kind of white trash.
Nick let me know that his mother said, "You owe me $93,000." So whether it was credit card charges, whatever it was, a gambit of stuff.
Well, let me ask you a question, buddy. Well, at the end of the day, it's not her money. She didn't make it.
Well, I don't know. They're all marital assets. So at the end of the day, I would never say to Nick or Brooke, "You owe me anything," but those are the words. So she said, "Nick, you owe me, $93,000." So at the end of the day, Nick's got limited resources, because he made money on Hogan Knows Best and made money for racing. And at the end of the day,
did he pay her?
Yeah.
Man, that is depraved on her part.
Yeah, and so
now
here's what I don't understand.
Oh my!
Here's what I don't understand. I never knew this divorce was going to get this ugly. I read about the Burt Reynolds and the Lonnie Anderson stuff. I've heard, the Alec Baldwin stuff. I knew, when this whole thing first started going down. Linda, in so many words says, "I don't want anything," or "Just give me half," and she switched gears a million times. And, at the end of the day, I didn't know this was going to get this ugly. But from her trying to, when Charlie was hiding in the bedroom and I went looking all over, and Brooke found him in Nick's room, I went all over looking for Brooke. Linda, said I was stalking her and threatened her, and she told the police she had an injunction against me, which was a lie. She followed a false report, tried to get me put in jail there. And then when I didn't pay George the gardener, for 2 weeks because she said he wasn't allowed to come to the house anymore to help me after 10 years, I didn't pay George, so they filed this emergency and contempt of court thing, trying to put me in jail then. Then when I didn't want to buy the $4.25 million penthouse in Vegas, which all the units now are selling for $250,000 each,
right?
I was in contempt of court then. She tried to put me in jail then. And let's see, what else?
She wants to see you locked up, buddy.
The restraining order.
And then they tried to get a restraining order because Charlie said that I stared at him at a stoplight, which he actually just crossed an intersection. I saw him drive by. I didn't stalk him, stare at him. When they said I followed him around for an hour, total lie. Tried to get me put in jail. And I thought it couldn't get any nastier, okay? Or the bottom feeders couldn't be more bottom feeders.
You didn't think it could go any lower?
No. And so then Nick has been worried about money. He's in California. He's out of pocket. It's expensive to live there. He's trying to start his life over. He's going to acting class. He's trying to get all this charity stuff going, but he's not making any money. So he called me back 3 days ago, and he goes, "Oh, Dad, I'm all excited. I'm getting $60,000 back in taxes." So, so I said, "Oh, that's great." And he goes, Mom said, "Oh, that's awesome, Nick, you're getting the money back." And so all of a sudden, Nick calls me yesterday. Mom says that's her money. She wants the money. I said, "Well, Nick, she was all excited about you getting the money back, and all of a sudden she switched gears and said she wants the money back. Let's look into it." I said, and, Nick said, "Well, because the tax returns and everything like that, when you make a certain amount of money, sometimes you prepay your estimated taxes."
Right.
And I said, "Nick, even if your mother and I prepaid your taxes, I would never ask you for the money back. Right now I know Linda's getting more money in her bank account than I do. I know that for a fact. Because I just paid all my bills yesterday. I couldn't afford to pay the bills. Because the judge...
Now, let me ask you a question. And I'm not trying to be mean, but for the first time since I've ever known you, you've never had that problem.
No.
Is it scary?
Well, it's different. It's different. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, well, Nick's trying to make it, and he's trying to stretch things as far as he can. And Linda just said, "You owe me $93,000. He paid her back. Now all of a sudden, he was all excited about maybe getting some tax money back so he could survive for a while there. And all of a sudden Linda goes, "That's my money you owe to him." I said, "Nick, whether it was prepaid by me and your mother or not," I said, "I would never ask you for the money back. You need the money more than your mom does. She's got more money."
Well, she's got 3 houses right now.
Yeah, and it's, speaking of that, You know, those emergency motions she filed because she was in fear for her life and all the bodyguards. She doesn't have the bodyguards anymore. And now she's here. She's still here. She didn't leave. So
yeah, she was in Universal over the weekend. We got 3 emails. So she was on the City Walk, and her and Charlie were standing, holding each other, just hoping somebody would recognize them. Not doing anything, just standing there hugging each other.
Well, dude, after she came off the boat Sunday in Shepherd's, partying at Shepherd's, she fired George again. George came over to my house in his Sunday clothes with his little 10-year-old son, and he was all shaking and crying because Linda fired him. On Sunday. And I said, George, just
but when who has the power to make all this stop? I mean, who has the power to? I mean, can you get in front of the judge and say, Your Honor, she just asked my son to pay her back?
Well, Linda says, Dick, it is what it is. Look at the tax returns, and even if it is true, even if we did prepay, the estimated payments and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not going to say, Nick, you owe me $60,000 payment. I can't comprehend it. It's just so ridiculous. And I told.
I didn't know parents kept score.
What if I said, Brooke? What if I said, Brooke, you got to pay me and Linda back the $10,000 on the music business, or the $1 million, or the $2 million? What if from the time my kids turned 18, I made them pay me back everything? It blows my mind. I mean,
it's white trash, my friend.
How greedy can you get?
Do you think she's going to do the same thing with Brooke and tell Brooke that she owes her money?
I don't know.
You know what? Let me tell you something. She's afraid of Brooke because Brooke will. I mean, I don't know if I'm speaking out of context,
but the whole thing's
this is
so
my opinion.
ridiculous.
This is my opinion, man.
I've never seen anything like it.
She won't mess with Brooke, man, because Brooke is stiff and Brooke's smart, and Brooke will cut. This is my opinion. Brooke will cut a modern day promo on her because Brooke has got in the media and said, "Hey, this is how I feel, man." This is.
Oh, I got one more for you. All of a sudden, Brooke's phone rings yesterday. It's just crazy, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when Linda rented the house in California, Brentwood, I guess there was an agent or assistant or some lady that was like a go-between that Linda supposedly befriended. Out of nowhere, Brooke's changed her number. Linda gets a call from this lady yesterday, going, "Brookie, my father cheated on my mother, and this and that and the other," and Brooke's going, "Well, hold on, lady, you don't understand. You don't understand this whole scope of the problems with this dysfunctional situation with me, my father, and my mother. You don't understand this whole thing." So out of nowhere, this lady that, no one's seen, and she was like an agent to help rent the house, calls Brooke up. Of course, who gave her the number.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, Brooke called me to tell me about it. She goes, "Dad, this lady that called up trying to defend the situation, Mom used to just dog the hell out of her and say what a lowlife she was and how she dressed, and just knock the heck out of this lady."
Well, like she did everybody.
Yeah. So now all of a sudden, this lady's been instilled in the equation to try to switch Brooke's mind. But it is what it is, brother.
I can only imagine how bad she used to kill me.
Ridiculous.
How bad she used to kill me back in the day.
Dude, everything's crazy. I don't want to get into that, but it's just so.
It's bad.
Now that I look at it, all I can do is pray for her, brother. Pray for her that that. And deliberately misuse, the situation of the people. It's just, there's no, out of something bad, something's going to come good, brother. But it's just so over the top, so ridiculous. It's just, sooner or later, Judge Greer's going to get his fill of this. He's going to understand the whole situation.
Now, when's the trial day? Has it been set?
It's supposed to be in October.
Really?
It's supposed to be in October, but this is just this running gag of every day it's another drama, or it's another, and I was telling Jennifer, I said, she's only got 2 bullets in her gun, and it was Nick and Brooke. And now Brooke's pulled out because she wants to be happy and have a good life, and every time she gets a phone call, she doesn't want to be crying or have this drama. Pretty much, Brooke's a happy camper.
Yeah, Brooke seems like she doesn't want to wallow in negativity.
No. So now there's only 1 bullet left in her gun, and it's Nick. And whether you use Nick to hurt me, in my opinion, or stir it up, but all that negative vibe and all that negative energy is going to be channeled in one direction. So I said, Nick, just focus and stay honest and strong and move forward with this, because you just can't be beat to death by this drama. It's not your life. It's someone else's life. It's not, and so I said, you just need to keep your head up, and, I don't know what he's going to do about his tax money and stuff, but the whole thing's just ridiculous.
What about wrestling?
That's just greedy. Linda doesn't need the money. It's just greedy.
What about wrestling?
Nick needs the money more than she does. What do you mean about wrestling?
I mean,
Well, I'm going in to get cut on Friday again.
Okay.
I'm going back to Gruber and St. Louis. I'm going to take one more shot at my back.
Right.
So if they can get me straightened up, at least I can start training, and,
right.
If I could, be consistent with like a